We will maybe take one or two questions before our afternoon tea break. So I'd like to welcome Don Gunasekera. Next, you're doing tag team, are you? Or no? Might be after Don.
I was going to give your talk and I thought I could give mine.
Welcome, Don. Don from Deakin University, and he's going to talk about the impact assessment tool approach. Thanks. Just sit next to me if you like. Thanks. Awesome. Yeah, just get that. There we go.
And to go up.
That one.
To go up.
Keep that one.
Get that. Okay. I think we heard a lot about the various projects this morning and this afternoon, so it's good. And the hub has a range of different projects, some on adaptation, some on mitigation, and various other innovation processes. I guess one of the things that people who are funding these projects, as well as the people who are actually undertaking these projects, they really want to know what are the potential economic benefits or economic impacts, either benefits or losses or whatever it is, in the short and medium term and long term. Now, you can understand this is different from financial analysis. I'm not talking about financial analysis, but what are the general economic benefits? So the tool is a very simple, basic tool that we have developed. And what does this tool basically do? The aim of this tool is to basically provide realistic estimates of the likely economic impacts of a particular technology. It could be an innovation, it could be an adaptation process, a mitigation process, and so forth. So the idea here is to look at the potential outcomes, the potential economic benefits before the innovation and after the innovation, just comparing that before and after. And of course, as I said before, it's different from financial analysis because we look at both near-term or immediate impacts and future benefits. And another important aspect of this tool is you are focusing on not only on the actual, let's say, farm group or the sector, but for the whole region, or in some cases for the whole economy, because you might develop a certain innovation technique which may be tested initially in a certain region, but potentially it could have impacts of applications across the board in the sector, in the region, or in the whole country. So this is where the economic benefits issue come in. So what does it generate, this tool? A couple of things here. One is it basically looks at what are the outcomes or the outputs of the innovation process. It could be change in outputs, it could be change in input use, or the domestic supply. Are we going to see an increase in domestic supply or a drop in domestic supply as a result, depending on the international market conditions and the market orientation? It could have impact on the export supply. In other words, both direct impacts, indirect impacts, and the benefits. So the tool is, or the approach is basically, is evidence-based. It's not just hypothetical, looking at just picking some numbers, and it gives a broader indication of what are the likely economic impacts. So in terms of the projects that we're talking about this morning, and broadly speaking within the hub, what type of information is required for us to use this tool in order for us to understand the economic benefits? Well, number one, what type of innovation are we talking about? Are we talking about an adaptation process, mitigation process, or something else? And also, as a result of this innovation process, what are the likely expected quantity of change in the outputs or yield levels, and so on and so forth, as a result of this particular innovation? It could be on the supply side, it could be on the production side, or it could be on the input side. Are we going to use less water or more water? Are we going to use less fertilizers or more fertilizers? That type of issue. And who are the stakeholders or the people who are likely to benefit? The producers, the consumers, or the exporters, or other industry groups. Because sometimes you might have a certain innovation process, but there could be what you call spillover benefits to a local industry or local community. So we can look at those different layers of impacts, different layers of stakeholders who are likely to have an impact as a result of a particular innovation, not just the producers or not just the consumers. Now, again, another important information which is required here is what's the likely rate of adoption? Because you might have an innovation, but you know that there are different innovations or different adaptation process have different uptake rates. So that's pretty important. And also the geographical coverage. You might develop certain technique or certain innovation for a particular area A, but potentially this could be extended a range of sort of situations or locations. So I talked about what does it do and what are the likely outputs and what are the likely information that's required for us to use this technique. Now we have used this technique or this approach in two cases. One, an international study where the Deakin University has been doing quite a bit of work in Vietnam, looking at the coffee industry and the pepper industry, particularly the soil conditions. We looked at what are the potential impacts on Vietnam's producers, exporters, and the global economy. And similarly, we've done a similar exercise looking at the potential impacts of climate change on a range of horticultural products done by one of our colleagues in Deakin University, top region. In summary, so the tool is basically to provide plausible estimates of the expected economic benefits for innovation from an economic standpoint, not just for the people who are actually using the innovation technique or the adoption measure or the mitigation measure, but the broader sort of community, the producers, the consumers, and also the other industries who are involved in, because that really gives you a better understanding of the actual economic impacts, not only for the one layer of stakeholders, but different layers of stakeholders. And also the tool or the approach, it also provides, helps to sort of reporting to investors what are the likely benefits. Normally the investors are keen on understanding, okay, they are spending $200,000 in a particular project, what are the likely sort of return to the taxpayer money or whatever it is. And lastly, potentially we can also use some of the analysis to leverage future investment. So I'm going to stop there. I'm happy to answer questions later on. Thank you.
We'll take questions after the next speaker, Peter, who was so enthusiastic to come up front. He's halfway here already. Our last speaker for this little session before afternoon tea is Peter Fisher, who's a Victorian Soils Coordinator associated with the University of Melbourne, and he's going to talk about the Soils Project. So welcome.
My turn, mate.
It's all you. It's all yours. Thank you.
So it just goes back to it. Great, thanks.